What is going on, YouTube? Smaldor here, and I am here with my final full thoughts and spoilery free review of The Outer Worlds 2. As you can see, credits are rolling right now. I just finished beating the game on my playthrough, and this game's great. I think this game is great. When I always, I had a lot of people come into the stream and ask me like my opinion on the game, especially because I got the game on the advanced access, so I was playing the game earlier than a lot of people. If you liked Outer Worlds 1, you'll really like this game. My biggest thing is that I feel like the Outer Worlds 2 took everything that was great about the first Outer Worlds and just transferred it over. And then everything that wasn't great about Outer Worlds 1, they either scrapped it or they just completely they overhauled it in a way that made it work better. And for me, the biggest things was this game now has real deep RPG mechanics. I felt like the first Outer Worlds did not, and it was lacking in a lot of areas. It was still good. I had a great time in the first game, but it was like, yeah, it's a good game. This one, the credits just finished. This one I feel is top notch pretty much all the way. Now, there have been a lot of discourse I've seen online about, from the people that don't like this game, that talk about like, oh yeah, it's just another, linear, game that does literally nothing new and, blah, blah, blah. I'm definitely not talking about a very specific game developer that made some tweets about that. But one, you don't need to innovate in every single game that you make for it to be successful. There's a reason why, certain things and mechanics have existed from the beginning of game creation that still exist to this day, because it works. Just take what's good and works, put it in your game, make it yours in your your way, and you're good. Outer Worlds 2, the humor is spot on. Pretty much all the characters I think are pretty damn good. I will say, as kind of it's not really like a negative, but I liked all of the companions, but a couple of them definitely stuck out more than others. If you watch my playthrough, you'll see there's two that I use way more than everybody else. It also helped that their synergies of abilities definitely worked pretty well. This game's got massive open areas, tons of secrets, things to discover. It doesn't matter what skill paths you decide to go down and what skills to take, you're going to be rewarded in some fashion or some way. There's going to be skill checks for everything throughout the whole game, and so sometimes you're going to run into something you don't have the skills for, and well, you're just going to have to pass on that because you don't have it. But then sometimes you will run into things that is for the skills that you have. So I really like that it adds for a lot of flavor for replayability. And then, of course, what everyone else is going to be talking about is the flaw system. The flaw system, I don't really remember how it worked in the first game. I do know it existed. We'll just talk about the one that's in this one. It's amazing. I think there's only one or two things that I wish was different, and that is, if you pass on a flaw, you never get that chance for it to come back again. I think you should be able to. So you will get a flaw at some point in the game that the flaw is you have to take every flaw. But you get a pretty good positive that goes along with it. Every flaw has a pretty big negative and then a small positive. But the trick is to kind of curate those flaws around your playstyle so the flaws don't really affect you, and that the positives are for your, do benefit you. And that's how I pretty much curated my character, and it worked out very, very well. I had a great time with my character. I would say like 80% of the game I played melee, and then like the last 20% I finally started using a lot of guns. I used guns in the very beginning too. And again, I played on the hardest difficulty, which is very hard. I felt like I was overpowered at the end of the game. And in the beginning of the game, I thought I was going to lower the difficulty, I thought. Yeah, no. So many secrets, and on top of that, there's multiple ways to like do a lot of things. Like, okay, you need to get inside this building. Okay, maybe the front door is jammed, so you have to, if you have enough, you have the certain trait or perk for like brute strength, you can brute strength the door. Or if you don't have that, oh, maybe you have the sneak skill to like sneak in through a grate in the vents. Oh, you don't have that? Maybe you then have a hacking skill to hack open, the back door. There's all these different ways, to get inside the building. I'm just totally making up a scenario, but a lot of things like that occur. The other thing that I saw like negatives people talk about, aside from like, it's a linear story game and blah, 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 nothing new is being invented or, innovative for the game, is the graphics. So I'll say this. It's not my preferred graphical style in a video game, which is like a realistic cartoony, or at least that's kind of like what I call it. It's clear the game has its artistic style and it's kind of cartoony. It's kind of like overly robust with its colors, but it still has some sense of realism to the game, or its look. It's not my preferred. But I do think the game still looks pretty darn good. For me, a negative, and this is maybe just me on my own system, every time I loaded, I had like 1 second of pop-in. Like the screen would like freeze for like literally like no more than 1 second. And only like half the textures would be there, and then boom, everything would pop in. That happened my entire playthrough. Every time I fast traveled, every time I loaded to another zone or whatever. It was pretty annoying. And the other big one is every single time I loaded the game up, it had to compile shaders. Literally every single time. I don't know. As far as bugs go, my game crashed twice on me in my entire playthrough. Not bad, I guess. One of them actually happened to be in this stream, this ending stream. Luckily, I quick saved. I quick save all the time. But yeah. If you like older Obsidian games or the older Bethesda games of this type, like Fallout 3, New Vegas, or Obsidian's older works of like, the KOTOR 2 and things like that. This is more Obsidian of that era, in my opinion. Very, very good. Now, if you don't like these kind of games, or you want something that's completely open or much more like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 or something like that, yeah, you're going to be a little disappointed. Because the game still is by zones, multiple zones, and you can travel to different zones, but they're pretty big, or a lot of them are pretty big. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, check it out. I believe it's on Game Pass.